My friend is a historian who gives tours of the Normandy beaches. He told me about an American family who listened intently to his entire presentation about the D-Day landings. At the end, the father pulled him aside and asked in a serious whisper, "This is all very interesting, but where are the monuments for the German soldiers who died? It seems unfair to only tell one side of the story. Everyone's a victim in war, right?" My friend was so stunned he couldn't even form a response. I was on a bus in Kyoto, Japan. It was rush hour, so it was packed and completely silent, as is customary. An American tourist was on a FaceTime call with his volume on maximum, describing everything he saw. "Oh my God, Becky, you should see these people. They're all so quiet and serious. It's like a funeral in here." He then panned his phone around the bus, filming everyone's faces. The collective, silent glare he received could have powered the entire city. An American couple on a wine tour in Tuscany were unimpressed. After a tasting of a vintage Chianti Classico, the husband declared, "It's okay, I guess. A little dry. You know, in California our wines are much sweeter and fruitier. You guys should really try adding more grape juice or something to your fermentation process. You could probably sell a lot more if it tasted more like what we're used to." The vineyard owner just smiled tightly and said, "Thank you for the advice." I worked in a high-end department store in London. An American woman tried to return a dress she had clearly worn with a wine stain on it. When my manager explained our policy on worn merchandise, she exploded. "This is ridiculous." In America, the customer is always right. I am a paying customer. I demand a full refund and an apology for this terrible service. I could get your entire country sued for this. She then threatened to call the British Better Business Bureau. While visiting the ancient city of Petra in Jordan, I overheard an American teenager complaining to his mother. "I don't get it. We walked all this way to see a bunch of old, broken buildings. Why didn't they finish building them? And why is it all the same color? It's so boring. They should paint them, maybe add some cool lights or a water slide or something." His mother nodded in agreement, adding, "It's a real fixer-upper, honey." My Canadian friend was in a hospital in Buffalo, NY, visiting a relative. He saw a family get a massive bill for a simple procedure and asked the nurse how people afford it. An American in the waiting room overheard and chimed in, "It's called freedom. We have the freedom to choose our insurance and our doctors. We don't have the government telling us what to do, like you socialists in Canada who have to wait years to see a doctor." The nurse just rolled her eyes. An American exchange student in my German university class was perpetually confused by the 24-hour clock. After missing 3 different deadlines, because he thought 15 man was in the morning, he stood up in class and announced, "I just think it's really inefficient for the whole world to use 2 different time systems. We should all just switch to the American AM/PM system. It's way easier to understand and would prevent so much confusion." I was guiding a trek in the Himalayas. One of the American clients, upon seeing our Sherpa team effortlessly carry heavy loads at high altitude, remarked, "Wow, it's amazing what you can train these people to do. Are they like a special breed of human? It's like they're not even affected by the altitude. We should get some of them to come to Colorado to help out in the Rockies." The sheer dehumanization of his comment left the entire group in awkward silence. At a pub in Dublin, an American tourist loudly declared he was 1/16th Irish and was here to connect with his roots. He then proceeded to order a round of Irish car bombs for a group of locals at the bar. When they politely declined and explained the offensive nature of the name, he got defensive. "What's the big deal? It's just a drink. You guys need to learn to take a joke. Lighten up." I was on a train in Switzerland, and an American family was marveling at the scenery. The father then said to his kids, "See, this is what happens when a country stays neutral and doesn't get involved in wars. They just focus on making everything pretty and selling chocolate. It's a good business model, but they couldn't defend themselves without us. We're like the world's bodyguard." An American tourist at the Vatican asked the Swiss guard, "Excuse me, what time is the Pope's show? And do we need to buy tickets in advance or can we get them at the door?" The guard, without a hint of emotion, simply replied, "The Holy Father does not perform a show. He leads Mass, and it is not a ticketed event." The tourist looked disappointed. "Oh, so there's no singing and dancing?" My cousin works for a software company in India. An American manager was sent over to oversee a project. During his first team meeting, he said, "Okay, team, I want to thank you for your hard work. As a reward, I've arranged for a special lunch. We're having a beef barbecue. I had real American steaks flown in just for you." He was genuinely shocked and offended when half of his Hindu team members quietly stood up and left the room. Overheard in a cafe in Vienna, Austria, an American student to his friend, "I'm so sick of all these old buildings and classical music. It's like this whole country is stuck in the past. Don't they have any modern culture? Like, where are the multiplex cinemas and shopping malls? I feel like I'm in a museum, not a real city." I was working at a wildlife sanctuary in Costa Rica. An American visitor, after being told not to use flash photography on the sleeping sloths, proceeded to do exactly that. When I confronted him, he said, "Relax, they're just animals. They don't care. I need a good picture for my Instagram. How else will people know I was here? My followers expect good content." An American I met while backpacking through Southeast Asia was convinced that every local who was nice to him was trying to scam him. "It's the only logical explanation," he said. "Nobody is that friendly without wanting something. In America, we know that if a stranger is smiling at you, they're either crazy or trying to sell you something. It's just common sense." At the Great Wall of China, a tourist from the US asked the guide, "So, did this thing actually work? I mean, we're building one on our border with Mexico, and it's going to have lasers and sensors. This is just a big brick wall. It seems pretty easy to get over. I bet it was a huge waste of money." A young American couple moved into my apartment building in Berlin. They threw a massive loud party on a Tuesday night. When the police were called by neighbours, the couple was indignant. "What do you mean, quiet hours? This is a free country." "Oh, wait, I guess it's not. In America, we have the right to party whenever we want. This is literally oppression." I was on a flight from New York to Amsterdam. The American man next to me was watching the flight path on the screen. As we flew over the Atlantic, he turned to me and asked, "Do you think they drain the ocean at night to clean it? I mean, it's so big, there must be a lot of maintenance involved. It's probably a huge government project." He was completely serious. An American tourist in a small Italian village was furious that the local bakery didn't accept his American Express card. "This is a global currency," he shouted, waving the card. "Every respectable business in the world takes this. How do you people even run an economy if you only take cash? This is why Europe is failing." The baker, an 80-year-old woman, just shrugged and sold the bread to the next person in line. My friend who works for the NHS in the UK had to treat an American student who had fallen off a bike. After setting his broken arm, she told him he was free to go. He refused to leave, demanding to know the cost. "I need the bill," he insisted. "Just tell me the price." She explained 10 times that it was free at the point of service. He left, muttering, "I don't trust it. They're going to send a secret bill to my house. Nothing is free." At a museum in Cairo, an American was looking at a 3,000-year-old sarcophagus. He turned to his wife and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "It's amazing what they could do back then without power tools. But you know, the hieroglyphics are a bit messy. It looks like a kid's drawing. They should have used a stencil or something to make it look more professional." An American businessman in Tokyo was complaining to his Japanese colleague, "I don't understand why I have to bow. It feels subservient. In America, we shake hands. It's a sign of equality. You guys should adopt that. It's more modern and democratic." His colleague just bowed slightly and said, "A fascinating perspective." I was in a grocery store in New Zealand when an American tourist started arguing with the cashier. He was trying to buy cough syrup with pseudoephedrine and couldn't understand why he needed to show ID and sign a log. "This is a violation of my privacy. I'm a sick person who needs medicine. In America, I can buy as much of this as I want, whenever I want. This country is a police state." A student in my international law class at the University of Toronto, who was from Florida, argued that the Geneva Conventions shouldn't apply to the US military. His reasoning was, "We're the good guys. The rules are for the bad guys to follow. We don't need rules because we have morals. It's that simple." Overheard at a cafe in Oslo, Norway. American tourist looking at the prices. $50 for 2 coffees and a pastry. That's insane. How can anyone afford to live here? They must be miserable. His friend replied, "Yeah, no wonder they're all so quiet. They're probably depressed from being poor." They said this while surrounded by people in a country with one of the highest standards of living in the world. An American on a safari in Kenya kept asking the guide if they could get out of the jeep to take a selfie with the lions. "Just for a second," he pleaded. "They look pretty calm. I'm a fast runner." The guide had to explain that the lions were not Disney characters and that he would be eaten. The tourist sulked for the rest of the trip, complaining about the stupid safety rules. I was working at a bookstore in Edinburgh. An American came to the counter with a copy of Shakespeare's Macbeth and asked, "Do you have this in the original American version? I find the language in this one a bit difficult to follow. I think they translated it into British English and it lost some of the meaning." An American tourist in Iceland was disappointed by the famous Blue Lagoon. "I thought it would be hot like a jacuzzi," she complained. "This is just warm bath water, and it smells weird. For this price, they should at least put some chlorine in it to clean it. In Vegas, the pools are much better than this." My professor told us about a time he was at a conference in South Korea. An American attendee asked him, "So is it true that you guys are still technically at war with North Korea? Why don't you just get it over with? Just go in and win." "It can't be that hard. We did it in Iraq in like a few weeks." The level of geopolitical ignorance was staggering. An American in a German beer garden ordered a Bud Light. When the waiter politely explained they only served local German beers, the man became agitated. "But Bud Light is the #1 beer in the world. How can you call this a beer garden if you don't serve the world's favourite beer? This is false advertising." I was on a walking tour of Florence. An American woman asked the guide to stop talking about the Renaissance and the Medici family. "Can you tell us about something more current?" she asked. "Like, where do the celebrities live? I'm more interested in the modern history of the city, like from the 90s onwards." An American tourist in Amsterdam tried to pay for his coffee with a US dollar bill. The barista explained they only accepted euros. The tourist replied, "But the dollar is worth more than the euro right now. You'd be making a profit. It's just smart business. You should be thanking me." My friend is a chef in a Michelin-starred restaurant in Paris. An American diner sent back his coq au vin. When my friend went to the table to ask what was wrong, the man said, "The chicken is purple. I think it's gone bad. Chicken is supposed to be white. I'm not eating purple chicken." My friend had to patiently explain the concept of cooking with red wine. An American at the Dead Sea, after floating for a few minutes, asked the lifeguard, "So, who puts all the salt in here? Is it a daily thing? It must be a really tough job. You'd think they'd have a machine for it by now." He genuinely believed the salinity was an artificial, daily maintained attraction. I was in a taxi in Mumbai, India, stuck in traffic. The American tourist in the front seat said to the driver, "You know, if you just organised this better, you wouldn't have this problem. A few traffic lights, some painted lines on the road. It's not that complicated. We figured this out in America 100 years ago." An American exchange student living in Australia was terrified of everything. She refused to go outside after dark because she was convinced that drop bears were real and would attack her. Despite everyone telling her it was a joke played on tourists, She insisted she had read about it on the internet and that we were all just trying to get her killed. At a performance of a traditional Aboriginal dance in the Australian outback, an American man was filming on his phone. An elder politely asked him to stop, as the ceremony was sacred. The man replied, "Don't worry, I'm not selling it or anything. It's just for my YouTube channel. It's free publicity for you guys. You should be paying me." An American tourist at the Acropolis in Athens looked at the Parthenon and said to his son, "See, son, this is what happens when you don't pay your taxes and maintain your infrastructure. It just falls apart. It's a good lesson in fiscal responsibility." He was using it as a lecture on modern economics, completely ignoring its 2,500-year history.